So guys, anybody have any open questions? Okay, hope you're good. So guys, I gave an assignment actually. Did you get a chance to look into it? So please work on that assignment, guys. It's a once you've done that once, you will get to know end to end clearly, right? So what we'll do, so in the last session we discussed about that REST API consuming. So we're good on that one, right? Anybody anyhow any questions? So how to somebody the publish their endpoint, how to consume that endpoint, right?
I have one question.
Yeah, tell me.
When in one application, when we are using multiple flows, right? Like yesterday, list of employees and slash list of employees and slash rest.
Hmm.
In such cases, while doing externalizing, how we pass the values for the same HTTP dot path, we need to pass twice, or how we need to pass?
No, you just make a different key. That's it. Huh? Let me just open that one, Ramal. REST API consuming. See, earlier we kept for HTTP listener, right? Now we have to keep for this. So here, what are there? You just have some the base path is there, some host is there. You can just put it HTTP request dot host. I mean, naming convention as you wish. Actually, how you want to keep it. For example, for whom you are doing this one for. What is the target system? Dummy, actually, right? You can just make it http.dummy.host, right? That way, naming conventions, we can keep it as your wish. Actually, I'm just putting like http dot. So dummy is my target system. I'll just make it like this, so that there is a segregation compared to HTTP listener. There is a HTTP host, there is a HTTP path, right? So you can segregate accordingly.
Okay.
So always key should be unique. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but when see, there are case like we will be having 2 or 3 listeners, right? Same listeners.
2 or 3 listeners.
If you go back, I will tell you.
Always one listener. That's what the
No,
RAM
no.
is.
For the second flow, I'm saying. See, this is one flow. Yeah. For the second flow, we're having another listener, right?
No, actually, once you implement RAML, right? So you'll always have one listener. Once you implement a RAML specification.
Yeah.
Just understanding, I said this one, but.
Okay, so like this case will never come. You're saying when we implement the
Use a
RAM.
RAML, exactly.
Okay.
Your API kit router is there, na? That will take it to route it. How many APIs you're going to publish it, right? So, for example, here /employees /employee ID /update, right? All these flows get generated, and then your API kit router get routed accordingly. Always one listener only will be there. So based on the path, based on the base path, right? Based on the type, the HTTP method type, it can route it accordingly. That's the reason I said implement that the REST API, whatever the assignment I gave, right? That's a part of that. You will get to know clearly.
Yeah, got it. I confused that in any points today we're having multiple listeners, right?
Yeah, just for explaining purpose, I put it individual endpoint separately, but eventually should not be the case actually. So we discussed the RAML session. Now just go through that recording, just put it here, and then generate a project. You will get to know the number of APIs get generated once you've done that RAML specification. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are good with this this REST API consuming, let's go to that SOAP API consuming. Okay. So what we did here in the part of the REST API consuming, somebody published their endpoints, right? What we did, we just consuming their endpoints. Okay. So try to implement this way as well. So why don't you do like this? So why you are depending on this dummy REST API example.com? What you can do is, there's one more thing actually, if you get some time. So implemented 2 projects, 2 APIs. You can say API projects. Okay. So one API is REST API publishing, right? You have to publish yourself. So think a simple thing, you can try to display some hello world, or else do one thing. So you already done earlier APIs, right? You connected some DB and then try to publish that, try to get that information, right? Select query weight and we fetch the information. Consider this is as a publishing endpoint, right? So you can put one more application, which is REST API consuming. So try to consume above application, the part of this application. What you can do is, so here we have to keep a REST the requester, HTTP requester, you have to keep it, right? HTTP requester, you have to keep it, and then try to consume this one actually. So this is a publish, this is a requester. So we have to run both the applications. I showed you how to run both applications at a time, right? You just go to that the run API configuration. Here you can see the mail application configure. You can choose it how many applications you want to run it at a time. Okay. So here you can choose that one. The one is publishing endpoint, another one is the consuming endpoint. Okay, and then run it. So both the applications get run. Okay, so that means your publishing endpoint is running and then consuming endpoint is running here. What you can do is, here you have to make it some 8082, same port number, it will not execute, right? So here you already used 8081, part of the previous application. Okay, so you are going to run it other application with 8082. So you will try to consume. How we done with this? Right here we are running the two things, right? So for example, here you already used, what is the port number used? 8081 already used. If we try to deploy another application, it will not allow, right? So conflict, you can see at a time multiple applications can't run same port number. Try to create another application with the port number 8082 and then run both application. Part of the internal coding, put a HTTP request and try to call this API, so that whenever the request hit in 8082 application, meaning this particular application, it will internally call this application, do the DB logic, get that information, populate that response in application 2. Is that clear? So what we did earlier, we are depending on that the dummy REST API examples.com. We are trying to hit them. They are giving the response back, so that response we are populating in our application. Instead of that, you only behave publisher as well as consumer, so that you will try to consume your application. Is that clear? Okay, so do this one if you're not able to do it. So I'm going to cover this kind of POC, HTTPS implementation. We are going to see that HTTP implementation, right? So right now we are doing HTTP only now. So we are going to do that HTTPS implementation, how to generate self-signed certificate and all, right? That time we'll see same scenario, same use case. Okay, guys. So try to work on this one as well, if we get some time. So we are good with a REST API consuming part. Let's jump into that SOAP API consuming. So for that SOAP API consuming also, we need a visitor, as I said, right? That is a visitor web service description language is required. So we are going to depend on the visitor. Okay. So we'll see some visitors here. In online, you can see number of visitors are available, right? For example, I'm looking into the calculator visitor, or else you can see some weather forecast visitors as well. Okay, just try to search weather forecast visitors. You can see that number of visitors here. returns national weather. Observe here, this is also some WSDL actually. We can utilize that one. You can see a list of operations. Are they providing this role operation section, number of operations I can see. Right, just click here. So try to understand Broadway, guys, what we are doing here. So what we're doing, some openly available, the web services are there. We try to consume that one, right? So these are not working actually. It's getting 504. So let's see the target with this WSDL. So here you can see that calculator WSDL. So I'll just open that service description. This is a WSDL format, which contains, the WSDL contains, you can just minimize all these things. Observe here. So this is the metadata, right? Whatever you can see at the top level, entire thing is the target namespace, metadata, all these things. So we can also create the WSDL file, guys, using online tools are there. It will help us to create that WSDL, or else using Java code also we can create. We have some annotations actually, but you don't need to worry. In our case, we are not generating any WSDL actually. We are going to use existing WSDL. On top of that, we are going to generate it actually. Okay. So this is the WSDL format. You can see that entire metadata on top. After that, you can see the main thing is what kind of operation you're going to do it. Right. You can see that the list of operations. Search for the operations here. You can see that list of operations. So this is the addition operation. There's a subtract operation, multiple operation, and then divide operation. Right? There are 4 operations we are going to do it. So what we are trying to do it here, somebody already implemented entire logic. Okay. So what you have to do is what they're expecting. Okay. What they're expecting, we are giving that input to them. Right? For example, as I said, use SOAP-UI, you can test that existing WSDL. So how we'll test it? So if you take one of the operation here, addition, right? So what addition will expect? You won't see on the top. If you won't look into it, so what addition is expecting here? It is expecting 2 parameters, right? So that is nothing but a int A, int B it is expecting. And then what they're giving back, add results they're giving back. Right? Everything is available. Only the thing is you have to pass the input, what they're expecting, you just pass it so that everything they calculated, they'll do some business logic there and they'll just give share that results back. Okay, that's what we are doing here. So when you're trying to consuming REST API or SOAP API means, so we just passing that what they're expecting. If you provide that one, and then they said they will execute their business logic and send them back the information. Okay, so put this in the tool. So there is a SOAP AI tool, right? We are already installed. If not, please try to install it. Go to SOAP and then just put it here, whatever the WSDL you are getting, right? So which is a calculator WSDL. I'm just clicking OK here. So before going to implement any API, that's a REST API or SOAP API, I'm talking about only consuming part actually. Okay. So try to add it here and test it. So if everything is working here, then go ahead and implement in your side. So what is expecting this particular addition? You can see that 2 parameters it is expecting. I'm just putting that 2 parameters here, int A, int B, right? So then click that green symbol, whatever that submit request, and then I can see the response. So we did not done any logic, right? They already, the entire logic they're done. So just they're expecting that parameters, we are just passing that one. Same thing you have to implement in your mule part. The part of mule, you have to implement that one. Okay, is that clear? So let's go to your MuleSoft actually. So try to understand that the structure of the WSDL as well. So main thing is operations, and then each operation what it is expecting, that clearly mentioned on top of the visual itself after the metadata, right? You can see that all these things, right? So, and then you can see that the operation. Here you can see that some the failure messages also they will take care. Actually, you don't need to worry about that one. Any failures happen, for example, here in this case, let's try to pass empty within a question mark. I'm just sending, put it as this question mark back. I'll try to hit the request. Observe here, they're sending some validation error, right? System web service protocol SOAP exception. Server unable to read the request, invalid request operation, and there is an error in XML document. So they're showing entire SOAP the fault error actually, but we have to make it a meaningful and then we have to send it. Okay, so let's try to put this in the MuleSoft and try to get that same output. What you can do is, so search in the online, the calculator Mistel. Let me just put it in the chart. You can also parallelly do it, guys. Which component you have to use this implementation? I just put it in the chart, the Mistel location, and then try to create a project. Okay. So if you observe here in the SOAP itself, we are sending XML format, guys. Try to understand here. So we are preparing envelope, SOAP envelope format, and then we are trying to send it. So that means SOAP always expect XML as an input. The SOAP envelope, SOAP format. What is there in the SOAP format? You can see it here, SOAP header and SOAP body, right? So if you want to pass any header information, you have to pass that header information, right? And then if you want to pass any body, you have to prepare the body in this format, and then you have to send it. So that means when you're trying to talk about that SOAP, so there is a slight learning curve will be there actually. You should understand that SOAP format. What is a SOAP format? How you have to prepare that input, right? And then you have to send it, because they'll not expect any other output input actually. They're always expecting XML as an input. So which is nothing but so whatever you can see it here, this is nothing but XML format, right? We have to prepare it and we have to send it. Okay, let's see how to prepare it. So let's look into that SOAP consuming part. So what I will do, I'll just create a project now, new Mule project. SOAP. SOAP is still. Okay, try to create a project, click finish button. Okay, so let's drag and drop the HTTP listener, because somebody should consume our request, right? Our endpoint, right? I'm just putting /SOAP. Okay, click plus symbol, click OK. Okay, the next thing is just put logger. I mean, logger is not a mandatory, guys. I'm just putting that one. Request. Just putting payload. If you are sending any payload, it will get populated here. Okay. The next thing is we have to consume that SOAP one, right? So what is the connector here? So there is a web service consumer, guys. This is the connector actually. We have to use this, the connector or component, for consuming SOAP. So we are aware about that the consuming REST, where is a requester, right? HTTP request. Here we have a web service consumer. You have to use that web service consumer. So click open the configuration for this. Let's see. So what is the URL, guys, here? So we have clearly the URL in the here. Just take this one. Okay, online one we are taking. What I'm trying to do it. So hope you guys are following. Please let me know if you're facing any issues while implementing, guys. Okay, hope both you are following. So what I'm trying to do it, I'm just putting that whatever that the URL I captured right from online. I'm just putting that one. So connector configuration, click plus symbol here. You can see it here. So whatever the visitor location, right, I'm pasting here. Observe here what it will happen. It will try to loading. Service get loaded automatically. The port we have to choose it. There is a drop down. It get loaded. I'm just choosing SOAP 11 version. There is a 12 version also there, guys. Whatever the version you want to choose it, you can choose it. I just choose 11 version. Observe here automatically load the remaining stuff, whatever it is required. Calculator, SOAP, calculator, all these things get loaded automatically, right? Only the thing is I added visitor. For example, it's not online, it's a local. What needs to be done? Here is the right side. You can see that you can refer in your project. You can refer in your project. You can refer in your project and then load that one. So that means from local also you can load it. So that's it, guys. I just put a configuration. For example, think like this, any security. Right now, this guy, till now, whatever we discussed without security, right? Meaning either it's a REST call or SOAP call. So there is no security openly available, right? Even SOAP here also we did not pass any authentication part. If it is any, then you have to pass that authentication here, guys. Observe here in the SOAP UI, there is a auth actually. So just put that one, and then if it is any new authentication, you just choose it accordingly. It's a basic authentication. Just you have to pass that username and password. So right now that is openly available. It's not restricted. If it is any part of your connector as well, you have a security layer. Okay. So there you are going to pass that whatever that security, you have to put it here, right? Right now we don't have any. I'm just clicking OK here, right? We just configure that the connector configuration. The next one is observe here. The whatever that operations list of operations, once you configured it, it will populate automatically here, right? Are you able to see in your case? I just choose addition operation right now. Okay, keep it body as a payload as it is. We are sending payload. If you want to send any headers, if you want to send any attachments, all these things you have to fulfill here. Okay, that's it. I done that connector configuration. So no errors. Okay, next step, what needs to be done, guys? You've done that the connector configuration. This guy is expecting some payload, some body is expecting. You have to prepare it and send it, right? That's what we are doing in the SOAP, right? We have just prepared some body, right? And then fulfill that that whatever that int A, int B, and then we'll try to hit the request. Same thing you have to prepare here as well, right? What needs to be done? To save it. So there is a transformation, right? Transformation component. Just try to drag and drop before the consumer. Okay. Hope you done that part. So before the consumer, try to drag and drop it. Okay. So once you try to drag and drop it, observe here. I can able to see something here, XML. That's the beauty of the data wave. Right? Data sense. This is nothing but a data sense, guys. So this data sense applicable for the database connectors and the web service consumer. Okay, just click it here. would automatically get generated here. What needs to be done? You have to dynamically read your input and then put it there. Right now, what I'm trying to do, I'm just hard coding the content here. But eventually, these values you have to read from your consumer. Okay. So whatever the values they are passing, you have to make it addition. Right now, I just put a hard coded. You know how to read the content from the previous step, the payload dot or query parameter, right? You can read it and put it here. Okay. So let's see the response. Once we get a response, and they'll give some response back. What I'm trying to do it, I'm just putting the transformation again. So I'm trying to convert into the JSON format. So trying to display the payload, whatever they are displaying it. I'm trying to display the result, add the results they are giving, right? Once you pass the information with along with the soup envelope, right? This entire thing is an XML, right? You can see it here, XML you are sending, because they're expecting XML as an input to this particular consumer, right? Meaning target system digital. So that's it. Let me try to deploy this application, run in a debug mode. So hope you guys done. Are you facing any issues? Are you able to load the data sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me try to deploy. You're already running instant. Let me stop that existing. I'm just done for only calculators, as I said, right? So you can find it number of visitors online, guys. Okay, so you can just pass that. Let me take it this one. What it is there exactly? You can keep it in the so first, so that you'll understand what is this exactly. What you're doing here. MDFT XML server. I'm not sure what is the corner points. GML time service, MDF generation. They're expecting something here, so I'm just passing ABCD. See here, they're sending bad input sector, server fault, server ABCD. Something meaningful message we have to send it here so that we'll get the request there. Latitude and longitude, MDF generate request. And see how many input parameters they are expecting. Okay, you can practice this kind of the visuals. You can take it and then you can implement in a part of your code. Just deploy it. Try to hit the request now. Okay. Let's put it here, HTTP host 081/. So okay, so let me keep the debugger here. Add a breakpoint. The request, I got a request. Let's see the next step. See the payload, guys. What you're preparing. Observe here. Whatever you prepare are part of the transformation. XML is going right. And TA into B it's going. Let's see what they will give back. I got something. See the results, guys. You can see the tag results. They are also giving back XML, right? You can just see here the body and the media type. It's kind of a Java object. can see it here, add result. Okay, and then I'm trying to convert into the JSON. Let's see. Observe here, I convert into the JSON format, whatever you are getting that object, we are converting back add result. Is that clear? Anybody have any question on this? So here we have multiple operations. We can do only one operation at a time actually, right? Out of these many. You can choose it. For example, there is a create order, update order, delete order, or else tracking order. We can do one at a time, track order or create order. Okay, so we are just giving the information. They will do the business logic their side, and then they'll give the results back. So that observe here. So here we are consuming internally, so but we are exposing as a rest. That you have to observe. Okay. So what you can do is, can you try to implement error handling this one? For example, think like this. Unfortunately, you're passing whatever the URL, right? So that URL is not available, right? Or else whatever you are passing the credentials that invalid, right? What needs to be done? You have to route it to the error handling part, and then you have to say the meaningful message to your consumer. Invalid credentials or invalid login, or else the particular visitor is not available, right? The problem is here. Now we can see right now this is working, right? You're completely dependent on the online, right? If the down the line after a few days later, if this is not working, you get impact, right? Your code will get impact. So that's the reason what we'll do, we'll just try to put into the SRC main resources. There is SRC main resources option, right? We have a placeholder now. There we'll keep it that entire the visual stuff here. We'll just copy paste here. How we'll save that one? So you can save this one as a dot visual file, dot visual calculator, dot visual WSDL, and then save it here. Okay, you can see it here, right? It should not be XML, guys. Let's say XML also, okay, but it should not. Just WSDL. Where is this? Not XML. Yes. Okay. So only extension is a WSDL, right? And then what you have to do is you have to load into your SRC main resources. And as I said, when trying to load here, instead of online, you just load from your local. Here is an option actually. So from your local, you have placing in your project, it can able to identify it and then load that one. So the problem is, if you are loading from your local down the line, right? Any changes?
Can you please show this again?
Which one? This one, huh?
Yeah. It's a connector only, right?
Yeah, so web service consumer connector.
Yeah. From where you selected local?
Edit. Here only on the visited location text field is there.
Yeah. Instead of passing the endpoint, we have to import take from the local. Okay.
Correct. If you keep this one, let me just copy paste here. Okay. Earlier we have a visible separate folder also there actually. Now they removed it actually. That's right. I just put it here. Let's try to read from your local editor. Click here. It's supposed to show here actually the path. Can you see we're still here? Soap consuming. Let me just copy paste the path here. So previously I was showing other project, guys. Hope you observe. This is not the project we implemented, right? This is the one you implemented, and then you can see it here, calculator is done and consuming soap is done. So let's try to read it. Here you can see when I trying to click it here, local, I can able to see here, right? Just select there. Now it is loading from your local. Okay, let's choose that option same way. Wait for some time, it will try to load it actually, automatically get populated. Once it get populated, and then these operations also should load it, guys. Until unless the operations did not load, you can't able to do anything, right? So what is happening here? So you are consumer trying to understand your WSDL, and then loading whatever that operations are published part of the WSDL, right? It will try to load it actually. Once it will load the operation, you can able to make the choose the operation. Otherwise, if it is not load, it can't actually. So here, if it is something gone wrong, right? Here you can see refresh metadata. Click the refresh metadata, right? The data sense, as I said, right? It will identify it actually. Otherwise, you have to add manually, right? If you see here as well, I did not add anything manually, right? Automatically get loaded. My job is easy. I just select it. Otherwise, you have to type it entire thing, right? You have to write it manually. This logic, right? Whatever the so format, whatever the whatever that naming, NS is nothing but a alias name actually. So that alias name, instead of typing entire thing here, right? So there's a TNS name. If you go and look into here, so that's a part of the visual. You can see this the TNS name. Here is a TNS name, target namespace. So we are keeping entire thing here. We just put a some alias name here. Namespace. NS is namespace. NS0 is the alias name. You just use that one actually instead of putting entire target namespace every time. Okay. Are we good? So this is a way to the consuming the soap calls, guys. Anybody have any question? Can I try other operation, guys? So right now I did only addition, right? Let's do one more operation, please. Can I try choose any other operation? For example, division or some other operation. I can choose it and we can implement it. One more flow.
Yeah.
Can I do it? If you're facing any issues, I'll guide you accordingly. Let me capture some meaningful the URLs actually. Whether last time I found some weather forecasting actually. I just bookmarked it somewhere else. Let me just look into it. So WSDL here online calculator. We saw that one. Yeah, somewhere else I have. This is what ARC1, ARC2 operations. Oh, this is also, it's kind of a find person. There's something different. Let me just put it what operations we have. I'll share you this sample. You can try it. Click. Okay. Observe here, these many operations actually here. Add integer, divide integer, find a person. Let's see what is that find a person. What they're expecting. Not sure what we have to pass it. Get by name. So keep it here. maybe once you pass the name, right, they're going to give it name, date of birth, SSN details, all these informations, guys. Let's give that meaningful name. If you can able to find it, we'll give the meaningful name so that we get the employee information. So let's put this. So demo samples till here I'm removing. It's not working. So meanwhile, you can start that one, guys. I'll just find it out one more visitor so that you can practice it accordingly. MOCLs. Gotta find something. Lookup city. Get my name. So here, guys, let's do this one actually, which is get by name, right? Get by name. Let me just click this get by name again. I'm just putting ROM here. They're populating something. Just passing ROM. Let me close other windows. Okay, get by name. Just passing ROM here. You can see they're sending some information, guys. What are the matching names? I just send a ROM actually. They're giving like a matching at least. Maybe they're doing some kind of a wildcard search, it seems. Right? They're populating some names. Can we do this? Share you this one. Whatever that is, right? Service description. Just putting in the chart. These are more services, guys. You can play with around number of services are there. Okay. You can see that lookup city also there one more feature actually. I'm not sure. Let's pass zip code is 560035. Or they'll give bad request they're sending. Lookup city. US chip actually they're expecting US chip. Let's find Santa Clara. Santa Clara. Okay. So Santa Clara zip code is this one, most populated zip code 95051. Let's put that one. Here, guys, Santa Clara, and then they're giving that information. You can play with around like this, guys. You just pass that Santa Clara zip code, and then you can able to see that the city, lookup city. Okay, are we good? The SOAP. So Gurbaradi, hope you are following, right? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. So this is commonly each and every project this kind of scenarios will come, guys. Either you have to consume the REST API calls, either you have to consume the SOAP calls, right? So as part of the web services, two things we done, guys. We try to consume the REST calls. We try to consume the SOAP calls. Okay. Let's see how to publish the SOAP. How to publish REST already we are discussing. Every application we are doing same thing. So we are not going to discuss that one. How to publish REST. But how to publish SOAP we are going to discuss. Okay. So please try to practice it. Whatever we are going to in between, we are giving some assignments, right? If you do it, then you get more clarification, guys. So that's all for today. So if you don't have any question, we'll wind up, guys. Tomorrow we'll continue the SOAP related. Okay, are we good? Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Bye.